Okay, so forms. Very important, not necessarily fun, but important part of the process. So for your homework this week, you will be creating a form, so keep this in mind. And there are so many different fields and so many different form controls that I thought we were going to go over a couple here, and then if we have time, I'll give you some more time to just pick a couple and implement them. We don't have the time to go all over. So the form is governed by the attributes that accompany it. So for example, name, action, method, and target. The input elements that are within the form are governed by attributes such as the type. So is it a text field? Is it a password? The name, which has to be written to the server side, whether it's disabled from the field, and if it's relevant. So here is a form. Hopefully this is a review for all of you. We have a form tag, and inside the form we can have one or more input fields. And the input fields are where the user enters something, such as their name. This input field is of type text, so when they enter, it's going to be text. Those attributes here that are part of the opening tab of the form are very important, and they give additional information. The kind of information that here is, this is an email form, and again, the name attribute is tied in the key value pair with the input and sent to the server, so that the server knows what value is corresponding to what part of the form. The action attribute corresponds to the file that is going to process the form. Forms are traditionally processed by PHP on the server side. In this class, we're not set up to do that, so we are just going to create an HTML. You can essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to create a mock HTML file so that just we display something. With the understanding that if we had server set up here, and we were set up for it, we would have a PHP form which would actually take the form, the values, and then make them, which is beyond the scope of the book. But the action tells you who is processing the form or what is processing the form, and the method tells you if the form is going to be sent. Have you heard of the HTTP transfer protocol? So this is the protocol that hypertext transfer protocol is the protocol that actually sends data back and forth between the client and the server. And there are two ways that you can send. One of them is post, the other one is get. And that's where you specify the method here. Sometimes there will be no method, and by default is get. Now, get is the kind of method which is less secure. So if you wanted to, sometimes when you send some information, you can see the fields displaying the URL. That's not secure, obviously, but if you go to bookmark the site, you use the get. For forms, traditionally we prefer to use post because it's secure and it also allows you to send a longer piece of data. Okay? And so this is the form level. And then inside the form we have here a couple of input fields. And this is a type text. And then we also have type submit, which is going to be submitting the form. Yes.
What would you type of email on the email field?
You could. It just depends. There are many different options.
Mm-hmm.
If you use text, sometimes it's easier because you can validate. Validation will be a separate topic, by the way. But you can use regular expressions and just handle it as text, and that works fine as well. This is just more of an example, but that's it for a question. And so this is what it would look like. And then subscribe, send it. And if you were using the get, you will see in the tab of the browser the key value pair, which is the name of the field, the control, and then the information that the user entered. Okay, so for a button, input element is going to have the type, value, source, You can actually have an image display at the back of the button, and then you can set the height and the width. So we can set the buttons here. This is for accessibility, and you can set specific width and height for the image. Text field, we have the size, the max length, there can be a placeholder, which is going to be on this place if you do not do anything else. And if you set it to autofocus, it's going to start with a focus on this particular field. So these are some text fields. You can have the field to be hidden, and it only is available for processing on the server side, but it doesn't display to the user. So that's this would happen. And then if you have a type password, what it means is when you type, what's going to happen? It's not going to show the password, so that's what you want to use for password. And then, so there, as I mentioned, so many different jobs. We're just going to have to do an overview. You're familiar with radio buttons and checkboxes? Yes? Okay. This is a radio button. And the radio buttons we have only one selected, whereas the checkbox you can select multiple. These are the option. This is, sorry, the option is with the drop-down menu where you can select one or more. So this is like a list. So just here you can select one or multiple. List box. Text area. The text area you can specify what you would like it to be, and if it's scroll. So you can either scroll down or you can go down. These are the possibilities. This one scrolls down. Okay, the label can be used with the 4 attributes, and then you connect the field with the label with the 4. So if you say for quantity, it's going to, I believe it's the ID, it's going to pick up the input field with a particular ID that matches the. Generally, the ID attribute is used on the client side, so it's used by JavaScript for the label, and the name attribute on the server side. Okay, so we can use the labels to label the fields. Okay, so it's helpful to use labels, check buttons. And this is for formatting, and also it's also for accessibility for screen readers, but you can format your form with these field sets, and then you can add a legend to describe. So that's a nice format that I've asked in the homework that you do this. So you can have a field set, and inside the field set you have legend topics, and then you have fields. This is what like anything style, because the elements you can start with the CSS and more. These are HTML5 additions. You can also use, you can have a control plot files. They're generally not considered very safe to do, and there are a lot of safety concerns, security concerns about it. So just, but you can do it if you'd like. I think it's not a good idea to go into it right now. It just requires a lot of security training, not to it. But the font control is available, and then to bring you to this. So this is all, you have seen this many times in the slide up with the font control for the file. And then we're going to look at some code, some CSS styling so that we can align our form fields to formatted to align. So we'll do that. Next time, we can talk about HTML5 data validation. Does anyone about this? I know in the JavaScript class we did it. Do they want to adjust it? You did? Okay, but we did it. We did it. Yeah. So this is a very easy and convenient way to do basic data validation. If you haven't done it, you should definitely introduce it to it. You have to think like how easy it's to use. Essentially, you just have to say that the field is required, and then you're going to get some generic HTML5 validation. And this is what it looks like. It comes from the browser. You can't, you can't customize it, but it's very easily effective. So this is the one way of validation, and the more powerful way is with jQuery and JavaScript. There's some regular expressions. So these regular expressions don't actually have anything to do with forms until we start talking about validation. So I'm going to stop here since you guys have only done anything last hour. But these are regular expressions, and you should know what they are, and we'll come back to talk. I like regular expressions, so I'll just mention the way this works is that regex is like a language that you create patterns for matching, and then it allows you to do a very sophisticated validation because you can match down to the pattern of I want the password to be alphanumeric A to Z. It can accept. So what this means is it can accept lowercase A through Z, uppercase A through Z, and numbers 0 to 9. It can have a range. It can be a max 16 characters minimum. So that's what, for example, that means. So it's a language that you learn. All right, so this was the overview up to validation. So don't worry about validation today or for your homework. Come back to it. And right now, let's take a break and then we'll do some form examples together.
Yeah, I
Yes.
Well, maybe I do know.
That she likes to try to do so. First by myself. My eyes.
And then regular singles.
I like the CLM.
He's right. Very beginner from
Maybe a rectangle. So, feels very good. Yeah. That's what I got. It's not right. Instead of. I know, I'm curious. Okay. This is just what it's about. And then not not real life. So that's not. I have. Yeah. But that's sometimes. And what do you use as the body? Well, if you. Just because it makes it a different. And then there's she lives on, she learns on I love it. I love it. Exactly. That's the same as this. The order of the thought that exchange place. Shadows. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can hopefully join the hangouts. The connection works. Okay, I think it's been 10 minutes. So I thought what we can do is we're going to create a form with input fields, and then we're going to look at it, and we're going to align the fields, and then we're going to format them. So this will be our class exercise for today. And then I will give you lab time today to play maybe with some additional controls like the buttons, or maybe you can just play with them as part of your homework. Okay, so let's start with our coding exercise. Brackets. For those of you who have allergies, besides me, one of the students in the other class suggested nettles, stinging nettles tea. So they're prickly, you can't just eat them raw.
Right.
You can eat them cooked, but you can buy the tea at PCC or somewhere like that. I just bought some today, yeah. Thank you. Well, to be a project to try them. It wasn't flying there? No. So, all right, so you have your folder, your project folder. We're going to need to create a little text file, a little, it could be actually a text file, but we're going to create a little HTML file, which is going to display some greeting saying, yes, the form has been submitted. This is just, it's not actually doing anything other than displaying. So let's start with that. So this will be our success HTML that we're going to use as a mock to submit the form, right? So save as, so we can get some colors here. Then,
Are you making a private folder for this, or can you just go in the big folder?
we always, well, you need to have a project folder. You can, as long as you have one, it can be an existing one or a new one, right? Whatever works for you. In fact, I need to open a folder to set it. So. As long as you start with a folder, and then you'll be okay. so save as success.html, the JavaScript. Body. Title. All right, and we might as well save as our other file, so we have it ready, and this will be the, so save a version of this essentially little template we created, titled styled form controls.html. And then when we come back to this file, we don't have to redo all this typing. So you have two HTML files, success.html, and they're just empty at this point, which is the basic tags, and the styled form controls.html. And I'll go back to success.html, and the only thing we need to add here is just some, let's say an H1 that is going to say success, your form has been submitted. Is everyone clear what we are doing here? Right? We're just creating a mock page since we don't have a PHP page to actually do the processing. Okay, and that's all for success.html, so I'll close it. And then save, and then go to the styled form. This is our main HTML page. And this will be align and format form controls. And then we're going to add our form. So we have the form tag, as you know. And we need to add our attributes in the opening form tag. And we want to have the name of the form. So my form, the action. So based on what we just did, what is the action? What do we need to put here? Success.html. In the method, and we're going to say post, right? If you have a form, because it's secure information, generally you do use post. And now we're going to have several pairs of labels and input fields. So the label, we're going to use the for attribute is equal to first name and first name. And now we need to add the corresponding input type, text, name, first name, and ID, first name. And we're going to make this one autofocus. And then we're going to add a break. So that the next form in the label go on the, obviously, the new line, right? The next line. So you should indent these. For me, it's a little difficult to see the indentation since my font size is very large, but
Did you talk about autofocus or
yeah, so this is going to make it so that it's telling when we display the form where does the focus start, and the user starts from there. It's sort of prompting the user to this particular field. Then we can play with it and change it when you see it. Okay, so this is our first pair. And let's just run it and see, and then we're going to add more. So now they're not aligned or styled yet, but here we go. We have a form, and it has a name. I can type here, it's an input type text, and that's all we can do right now. But let's continue. So the next one is going to be the last name. And then the inner HTML. So the text, as I've been saying in the JavaScript class, this text between the tags in the HTML element is referred to as inner HTML. So the inner HTML here is last name. And then keep on going. Next, we create the next field. And again, it's going to be input type text, name, last name, ID, last name. As you can see, it's fine to have our name attribute and ID with the same name. There's no conflict there. And then a break. And then address, label for address. At this time, if you're comfortable, we can just copy and paste since they're, essentially the same. So I'm just going to copy the input type here and just make the changes. So it's still going to be text, except the name is going to be address, so it can match the label, and so is the ID. Address. Then we do one for city. So actually we can just copy. I assume everyone is comfortable. This is not, very difficult. So we can just copy and paste, right? I don't think that will confuse anyone. Okay, but I do want to have several since we'll be styling them, several controls. The next one is going to be for city. So the label is for city. One here. Okay, so then it's still text, and you just change the name attribute and the ID. And if you fall behind for some reason, just let me know. Let's do the same for state. Zip code. Just use zip. It's just And so these are all the text field, and then we're going to have a label for, actually no label, but the last two buttons are going to be of type submit. So these are the type of buttons, the type of controls that submit the form. So the type changes to submit. The name will be register. The ID will be button, and we'll be styling this. If you have multiple buttons, you might need to say button 1, and the value is not entered by the user, but we're going to enter it here, and the value is registered, or register. Sorry. And finally, we're going to have a reset. Input type equals reset. You can guess what this does. If not, we'll test in a moment. And then we close the form, the body, and the HTML.
So do we do a button
For the reset, we're just going to say reset. It's just going to reset it. And so when we preview, we have all these form controls in their own new line because we have a break in between, but they certainly don't look stylish. Okay, so make sure everyone is finished with this part. You have all your form controls. Autofocus was just one of them. It was the very first one, which is typically where you have it. Just the one. Scroll down. Okay, and then to style this, so we're going to do the styling in 2 steps. The first one will be to align the controls, learn it, take a look, verify it works, and then add some styles to it. So we have seen what it looks like right now, and we can just add, why is my title, this is still working, but the title certainly needs to be inside the head. So let me fix this. If you did the same, the title needs to go in the head, not in the outside the head. And so inside the head also, we're going to add a style. Just keep it in one page. And the style will go embedded here. And we're going to style body with margin of 30 pixels and auto, and width of 500 pixels. So we're selecting these by the element name, which means that it's going to style all of the elements by that name. So if we say the label here, it should select all the labels. And we're going to float the labels left with a width of 5 ems. We're going to align the text right. Next is the input. So we select the input elements. We say margin left 1 M and margin bottom half M, 0.5 M. And lastly, we have one button. We gave it an ID of button. So we select it with the ID. This one is here. That will be a hashtag button. And it's going to have a margin left of 7M. So let's take a look. I'll bring back the code. Oh, okay. So other than we're missing the reset button here, but there you go. This is now looking pretty good. So let's see where is the reset. Reset. Oh, here we go. So we want these two actually to be on the same line. So I'll take out the break. I think that's the problem. And try again. And that's more like it. So this is our aligned, these are our aligned controls. So maybe take a moment. There was a break I had added after the input type submit. So we don't want the break there. We want them to be on the same line. So make sure your form works if it's aligned, and then take a couple minutes to review the styling to make sure we understand what's making what happen. And in this kind of situation, it's helpful to see if you remove certain style, maybe how would that change. But the main thing we're doing is by floating the labels left. As you can see, this is what is aligning here. And we have said that we wanted the text to be aligned to the right. So that's a bit of a choice. You could align it to the left if you don't like this space here. I mean, you can align it differently, but that's one way you could do this.
What was the code on the first YouTube?
We did a success. The success just has a, all it has is a H1. So actually, right now, we should, if we submit, we should see, since we're doing no validation, if we say register, we should see, I didn't find it, didn't spell it. Let's see. Success. Actually, the success should work now. So let's see what is the problem. SU. Did I save this elsewhere maybe? Oh, you know, this might actually, I think this is brackets. I'm remembering something about. Yeah, that's what it is. So if we wanted to see this displaying the success, let me go through from. Doesn't do that. Why? Okay, so now if you say register, it's displaying the success page. Now, normally, and so that does not work from this functionality is not available from bracket. Normally, what you do is, of course, validate those fields, and if the fields were not validated, it's not just going to submit the form, but in our example, that's what it's doing. Is everyone sure? Right here? Okay, so we'll take a couple more minutes to finish this, and then we're going to add a little more time.
So, I thought maybe I was missing something. That's not good.
So the third one is the one we have. Yes. No, the right preview is not. I wonder if it's in the brackets because this is where it keeps on saying it's cancelled. Did you see? I just want to point out the autofocus. So the field that fills the autofocus, that's where what happens. That's where the cursor is. So take a look, and if you want to change it, then you can see how the cursor goes. Okay, just one more second.
Is there nothing that turns the
You get a break. This is it. Okay. So you get a break time.
yeah, but like open and then it closes the
Oh, this is like this is like a self-close button.
oh, so the point changes. Oh, okay.
Okay, what you should do is go ahead and you can follow, but let's run through the validator. You need to put it in the validator and see. I'm just not saying it right now. It's very simple.
Okay.
But let's do that in a moment. But I don't want to call it penalty, so we'll figure it out. Okay, so our next step. Again, let me just show the autofocus. Did everyone see this? Did you check it and see? So if I move the autofocus to, for example, city, that's where it's going to bring the cursor, right? And that's what that does. And let's go ahead and add some formatting here. So we're going to be working in the CSS. In the body, we're going to add a font. It's going to be 87.5% Arial. This is a shortcut where you're setting up a couple different properties. Arial, Helvetica, let's try striking. I think so. And sans serif. And we're going to change the margin to 20 pixels. This is the body. And with the label, we have the float left already. We're going to change the width to 8 ems. And we're going to add color, navy, and text. We have text online actually. Font weight, bold. With the input, we have the margin left. We'll leave it as is, and the margin bottom. And we're going to add width of 15 ems. Next, we're going to select the input field with focus. So input column focus. We're going to set the border of 2 pixels, solid navy. And then for the button and reset, for the fields with IDs of button and reset, we're going to set the width to 7M and background color, silver, and box shadow, 2 pixels, 0, and navy. And finally, the margin left for the button, we're going to change to 9.5 M. Something is a little off, but generally. So the reset is 7M.
Did you get the password reset and ID code?
It's a good question. It doesn't look like it. Let's see. Oh yeah. So we need to give this an ID. That's exactly what it is. We can select it because good eye, Milo. So to correct this issue, what we need to do is add an ID of reset. We only added. Okay, so if the reset button doesn't look like it should, it's because we forgot or I forgot to add an ID. I only added the name, but I'm selecting it with ID. So add an ID reset, and that should. Yeah, so I'm just testing it to make sure. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so I will, should we go to the,
Button reset. Button for several functions.
okay, so take some time to make sure that this example works for you. That's the last example we're going to do today. Okay. Yes, Nicole. That's what we put area of numerical and sensor. Did I forget a comma? That should work. Yeah. It should do. Maybe I'm missing something.
Font size 87%.
You definitely have a font shortcut, so I'm sure of that, but maybe, let's see here. Font property. Set all font properties in one declaration.
There's no color between the size and the name.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I think, yeah, it should work. So I think the problem is that, okay, this CSS always gets me. There are commas between the different types of fonts, but not between. CSS syntax, my favorite thing in the world. That seems like error to me. So font should. Okay, so to clarify, there was no comma between, when you declare the shortcuts similarly as with the border, there is no comma between them. I always put comma because in parameters you put commas. So go ahead and get this working, and I think that's all we're going to do for tonight. Do you have any questions or comments? I'll turn off the recording and then I'll look around, make sure. Patrick, please copy your HTML and put it in a validator to see what your issue was.
No, my.
This is not working, I can spot it. Maybe Maureen with a more sharp eye than I can spot it. I don't know.